What's up, everybody? We are here live for the very first episode here on the Murder Podcast Show. I am going to be your host, Tim, and this is going to be a brand new show that I am starting. I want to try out, so I appreciate everybody who is joining us tonight. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'll get change some things with the show and make things pretty good. Just give me some time with it. But anyways, tonight, figured I'd start things out with the serial killer Matthew Hoffman, also known as the Girl in the Leaves. There's a couple of books that were written about it too as well. But this was actually in Ohio, which is where I'm from. And this guy's got a crazy past. He was born November 1st, 1980. And what he was known for was killing three people. 32-year-old Tina Herman, her 11-year-old son Cody Maynard, and her 41-year-old friend Stephanie Sprang. And then he also kidnapped and raped Sarah Maynard, Herman's 13-year-old daughter, and it was over the course of 4 days, which is just really, really fucked up. So the triple murders took place in Howard, Ohio. Police had traced the purchases. He had purchased tarps found at the scene. Walmart was where he had purchased them at. Go figure, you can buy anything there, you know. You can even buy caskets too, which is, I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but if you go to walmart.com, you can buy caskets there, which I guess is kind of weird, but you know, why not get one when you're grocery shopping? So there's a couple of shows that are done on him too. And what's crazy about it, when he murdered the three victims, he dismembered them and then buried them in a hollow tree, like a big oak tree, which is like, damn, dude, you know? Because you hear of different serial killers and stuff like that, and, you know, you think a lot of them do the basic. You know, they kill somebody, and a lot of them, they'll leave them there at the scene, but it's weird, too, because they want to leave their own mark in some way. Most of them do, you know, Zodiac Killer and the different ones, they leave their mark. And this guy, he dismembered them and buried them in a tree, which I guess it took him more time to find them that way, but it was a 60-foot tall hollow tree. The family was later reported missing in 3 days. They had a 3-day search for the four. Hoffman became a suspect when the items uncovered in the house, large tarp, of course, large garbage bags, were found to be purchased from the store. And then they reviewed video footage of him buying those items and leaving the store as well in his own vehicle. And they went back and found that in the motor vehicle records too as well. And it also came out later that he had been stopped by police in the area where Herman's truck was found and had been released after being questioned as to why it was in that area. And then finally on November 14th, detectives raided his home and he was arrested. Sarah was rescued. He was keeping Sarah, who he had raped over a period of 4 days. He was keeping her in the basement. She survived it, which is The Girl in the Leaves, the one book that I have. It was actually, some of it was written from Sarah Maynard and Larry and what they witnessed during it, which is pretty wild. I haven't read the book yet, but I definitely am going to. But yeah, so it's, thank God they got him, and he didn't exceed. I mean, it's a shame, it's a sad that he killed those three and then did what he had done to Sarah there in that basement over a period of the 4 days. But at least they stopped him when they did before it progressed into any more. Of course, too, I don't even know if it would be considered, he'd be considered a serial killer, because I think the way they do it is when they kill 5 or more, then they're considered that. So, tech borderline, he wasn't a serial killer. So they stopped him, which is good, thank God. So yeah, it's crazy. He was born in Mount Vernon, Ohio, which not too far from me, probably about 2 hours, maybe hour and 45 from where I'm at, which is wild because Ohio, for some reason, has a lot of serial killers. I don't know why. Dahmer was out of Ohio too as well, which Dahmer was only probably about 30 minutes from where I'm at. And when he lived with his parents, and that was where he buried his first victim. But eventually we'll get into Jeffrey, of course. He's always a big, famous one. And then there was the Cleveland torso killer, too, as well, which we'll definitely get into that. That's a crazy story, for sure. But some of these shows that are out on The Girl in the Leaves, they did an episode on it in season 2 of Deadly Sins, which is titled Small Town Massacre. And then it's also in The Signs of a Psychopath, too. That's a good show. Both of those are actually really good. But there's not like a whole lot to cover on Matthew Hoffman. I mean, he did what he did, unfortunately. You know, he took 3 lives, innocent, too. Because if I remember correctly with him, he was, so yeah, he got, looking at his court record here from his trial. Of course, he got life. He got 3 concurrent counts, jail time, 53 max year life, all concurrent to run. So he got kidnapping, rape, tamper with evidence, abuse of a corpse. So yeah, he got a lot here. Rape was 1 count, jail time credited 53. Tamper, evidence, jail time credit 53 again. Abuse of a corpse was concurrent with the life, 3 counts. Look at the dude's mugshot too, man. He looks like a friggin' creeper, which most of them do. But yeah, it's wild. I'm just trying to look up some research. But anyways. Oh, yeah, the hollow tree. That's just wild to me. Dismembered him, too, you know. Yeah, there were 2 women and an 11-year-old boy. Dismembered him in pieces in garbage bags and placed him inside of the tree. Yeah, once the death penalty was off the table, so they had the death penalty originally, and then they pulled that off. Suspect Matthew Hoffman got down to writing. The unemployed tree trimmer had been arrested after police found 13-year-old Sarah Maynard bound and alive in his basement, on top of a pile of leaves, one of the many piles in the bizarre home. And I remember that too in one of the shows, Signs of a Psychopath, I think. The home everywhere was just covered in leaves. He had bags of just leaves all throughout the house, upstairs in the basement, and then he had her. Hence why they titled that book The Girl in the Leaves. But yeah, it's just crazy that they did that. In a 10-page confession letter, Hoffman wrote that he invaded Maynard's mother, Tina Herman, home to rob it on November 10th, 2010. So that's what I was getting at. If I remember correctly, he started to just rob the house. He didn't expect Herman to come home so quickly, or for her close friend and neighbor, Stephanie Sprang, to enter the home as he attempted to beat her unconscious. So his plan kind of backfired. He wasn't even planning on doing that. And then things change, and she came home, and that changed. As he stabbed both women to death, he wrote, he also didn't expect Herman's kids, 11-year-old boy Cody and 13-year-old Sarah, to come home from school. He attacked both children as they walked in the front door, but claimed he didn't kill Sarah because he thought he could subdue her. That's just messed up. His confession also detailed how he'd processed the bodies of his spree murder victims and hidden them away in a tree. That one is the case was subject of a season 1 episode in Interrogation Raw on A&E. It's called Lost in the Leaves. So that'd be a good one to check out too. It's kind of primitive if you think about it. Animals, sometimes after a kill, they'll hide it away. Dr. N.G. Barrell, a forensic psychologist in New York who is not affiliated with Hoffman case, tells A&E True Crime. Barrell adds that the state of Hoffman's home indicates a psychotic preoccupation with collecting leaves as a form of camouflage. He believes Hoffman's behaviors indicate signs of schizophrenia. It is unclear if Hoffman was ever officially diagnosed with that mental illness, but in jail, Hoffman said that he did not want to be injected a treatment, according to the Columbus Dispatch. It's a treatment, Thorazine, a treatment for schizophrenia. He didn't want to be injected with that. Moving on to how the police found him, as we were talking about before, they tracked him down on November 14th after finding a shopping bag and receipt for tarps in his garage. When they viewed the store's surveillance footage, it showed Hoffman, who a clerk remembered driving a unique compact car, probably a Tesla. Just kidding. Police then searched for local owners of the car brand and found Hoffman's driver's license photo in it. He was wearing the same shirt he had on in the store surveillance footage. As the interrogation raw footage shows, Hoffman had initially told interrogators that he found Maynard in his house in the days after the crime and realized that he must have done something bad. So there goes back to the schizophrenia. I think he was trying to pull that card of he's not all there, so he didn't know what he was doing. But clearly, I believe the guy knew damn well what he was doing. Hoffman had transferred Maynard from her home to his own using victim Sprang's vehicle. The blindfolded Maynard later learned that she had been placed atop her mother, brother, and family friends' bodies, she told producers of the Dr. Phil TV show 2 years after her rescue in 2013. That's crazy. Jumping into Sarah Maynard on her life after her rescue now, knowing that you can never say mom again is the worst feeling in the world, Maynard told Elizabeth Smart in 2019 Lifetime special, Smart Justice. The Jamie Claus case. Claus was kidnapped and held in captivity for 88 days, lost her parents James and Denise Claus, with her kidnapped Jake Patterson, murdered them before abducting her. So yeah, a lot of this is just wild. And you know, it always boggles my mind, a lot of these guys, when they get caught, I feel like they always try to pull the whole I'm insane and that whole card, hoping that they'll go off to a mental institution or something instead, which most of the time they figure out that that's not true. And then they're like, shit, now I got to do time, instead of living life in a mental facility where it wouldn't be too bad. Now I've got to do life in a prison. And I feel like a lot of them try to pull that card. And it's just great to see that justice does end up getting them, serving them right in the end, which is great. But I know Dahmer tried to pull that too, where the I'm insane, blah, 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 and most of the time they're like, yeah, okay, right. But this case is just pretty wild. A lot of people don't know about it. But if you check out A&E and True Crime, you can catch these. Interrogation Raw is a really good show. That's a good episode to catch it on for sure. But like I said, there's not a whole lot to cover with it. I just kind of wanted to start out doing this one. I figure it'd be a good thing to kind of jump into. And then as we get further along, we're going to definitely get into some crazier stuff, of course. Next weekend, this coming weekend, I'm going to be traveling to visit some famous TikTok social media people, Vampira and Blood. And we're going to sit down with them, and they actually have a really cool story. Vampira has a serial killer known from back in the day. It's actually her aunt. So that's going to be a pretty wild story, and I'm looking forward to that. That'll be on Saturday. I'll put it up on here, schedule it so everybody knows, but that's going to be very cool. I got us out. If you can, subscribe to the YouTube channel here. And then we're on Facebook too as well. just trying to grow the channel. It's been a while since I've done podcasting, used 2 years ago. Now I'm trying to get back into it, so hopefully we can grow this channel and grow this show and have some fun. Like I said, over time, I'll gonna be adding all kinds of stuff, and then we're gonna be live streaming it too, hopefully in the next week or so everybody will be able to see in here. And for sure, it's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it. But anyways, I appreciate everybody jumping in here. I know it was a short one tonight, but that's all right. Very first one. So Matthew Hoffman, The Girl in the Leaves. If you get a chance, look it up. Find a couple of the shows they made on. I think they made some movies on it too as well. And Amazon too. Look up The Girl in the Leaves book. Best-selling author Robert Scott. Like I said, along with Sarah Maynard and Larry Maynard. So Sarah, that was abducted and raped for those 4 days, she wrote this book too. What young Sarah witnessed was terrifying, but she didn't see, what she didn't see was the stuff of nightmares. So yeah, this is pretty crazy. On the back of the book here, in the fall of 2010 in the all-American town Apple Valley, Ohio, 4 people disappeared without a trace. Stephanie Sprang, her friend Tina Herman, and Tina's 2 children, 13-year-old Sarah and 11-year-old Cody. Investigators begin scouring area, yet despite an extensive search, no signs of the missing people were discovered. On the 4th day of the search, evidence trickled in the neighborhood. Weirdo Matt Hoffman. A police SWAT team raided his home and found an extremely disturbing sight. Every square inch of the place was filled with leaves, and a terrified Sarah was bound up in the middle of it, like some sort of perverted autumn. But there was no trace of anybody else. Then came Hoffman's confession to an unspeakable crime that went beyond murder and defied all reason. His tale of the evil would make Sarah's survival and rescue all the more astonishing. A compelling tribute to a young girl's courage, her fierce determination to reclaim her life in the wake of the unimaginable wickedness. So yeah, this looks like a pretty good book. Definitely. But yeah, once again, I appreciate everybody jumping in here. We are the Murder Podcast Show, and I'm going to be your host throughout this whole entire fun journey, Tim. And I'm going to have all kinds of guests and stuff on throughout the shows, throughout the time. It's going to be fun. Like I was saying, this coming weekend on Saturday, and I will post it on the YouTube channel here, I'm going to be meeting with, they're famous on TikTok and Facebook and social media, Vampira and Blood. They're very cool. I've got it posted on the Facebook page as well. I'll post it on the YouTube channel. But they're going to be telling us a really cool serial killer story. Vampira's aunt was a serial killer. So look forward to that show. It's going to be Saturday sometime. I'll figure that out. I'm going to be sitting down with them in their living room as we dive deep into that. And she's never really told anybody about it, Vampira. So it's going to be pretty cool. So for sure, check that out. But if you get a chance, like I said, subscribe, like, follow us, share the word on the show. Let's get it out there. We've already jumped up subscribers a bunch just overnight. And help us spread the word and have some fun with this show. That's what we want to do. So anyways, thank you everybody for your time, and we will see you on Saturday's show. Have a good evening.